Namaskar. I am Ms. Parimala Bhatt, Chairperson and founder of Snehankit Helpline Organization. I have done my MSW, that is Masters in Social Work and Business Management Diploma. I went to school under Integrated Education System, that is studying with sighted students. I attended Chabildas Girls High School. Then I did my graduation from Ruya College and Ruparel. I joined Ruparel College because I wanted to opt for psychology and philosophy. I did my graduation and I joined Nirmala Niketan College of Social Work, Mumbai University for Masters in Social Work and Diploma in Business Management from Khandelwal Institute, Mumbai. As I was studying in college, I had to face so many challenges. That is, we never had books. In school, yes, we had some books, but not for all the subjects. In college, not a single book was available in Braille and had to depend on the volunteers or the classmates and professors who were teaching the particular subject. When I joined my Masters in Social Work in Nirmala Niketan, we were compulsory to submit assignments, project reports and do field work. During that time, I had no knowledge of mobility. My parents did not allow me to go out of the house independently. But Masters in Social Work, when I joined, it was compulsory for me to do field work, and my mother insisted that I should learn mobility and travel independently. And this is how I attended mobility orientation courses with National Association for the Blind. Within 15 days, I learned my mobility and I started traveling alone. My field work was in all the slum areas in Bombay, Worli, Andheri and Chembur. I was traveling alone, visiting the families where visually handicapped children were staying with their families. My job was to counsel the families and guide them to proper channels, which is whether if the child was small, guide them to a school for the blind. If the visually handicapped person was 14 years or 20 years, guide them to some workshop if they had not attended the school during these years. I had also visited hospitals where I needed to talk to doctors and the deans of the hospitals concerning a visually impaired child. I had visited JJ hospitals, and all these visits which I had done, I had to submit my reports next day to our faculty, which was very, very difficult for me, as I had no support from anywhere. My part 1 MSW, I scored 60%. That was very less for me. It was due to not having readers and volunteers to write my reports and submit the reports on time. When I did my part 2 MSW, my faculty, they helped me a lot. They arranged the relatives, the volunteers to come and read for me and record the books on the cassettes, which was very much helpful to me, and I could score 75%. which made all the faculty members happy seeing my marks. Yes, it was a challenge because for MSW we had to read a lot of reference books, and I was unable to do that, but with the support of my faculty members, they recorded the books for me. Some of the faculty members' children were coming in the morning doing the recording work on the cassettes, and one subject required 30 to 40 cassettes. So you can imagine, when I have to study 7 or 8 subjects, what challenges I would have faced. All the cassettes used to get mixed up, and I took help from my counterparts, my classmates, and I used to make braille labels on the cassettes to identify the subject's name. After I finished my masters, during my master's degree, 6 months field work I did in Kamala Mehta School, which I enjoyed. I had to work with children, the psychological problems, guiding the parents, counseling the child, and also I had to sit with Dr. B.P. Shah, who was a psychiatrist, coming to school every Saturday. After 6 months, there was a vacancy in Air India as a medical social worker, where I wanted to apply, tried to apply, but there was no response. Mr. Vijay Merchant, the famous cricketer, helped me to get a job in Air India, as he knew Mr. Raghuraj, then MD of Air India. I joined medical department, where I had to work with Air India staff regarding medical problems. I was liaison between the hospital and our medical department whenever the patients required help, whenever the patient requires hospitalization, whenever the patient requires blood donation or any other help concerning medical. Air India Medical Department was like a mini hospital where there was pathology, X-ray department, all the doctors 24 hours, and I had to regularly report to them about the patients who required admissions and also the condition of the patients who were in the hospital, admitted in the hospital. This was my journey of Air India. Of course, my staff or my medical department staff, they were very helpful, because whenever the patient came to me and I had to do writing work, they all helped me to make entries on the case work whenever I used to ask the help. I was working with Air India, and at the same time, in 1981, I was representing India to attend leadership training program for Southeast Asian countries. I was representing India, and I had to present a report on the situation of blind women in India. That was 3 weeks training organized by Swedish Federation. After returning from Malaysia, the National Association for the Blind set up a committee for the advancement of status of blind women, and they appointed me as a secretary of Women's Department. As I was working in Air India, at the same time I had to be responsible for the Women's Department of esteemed organization NAB. I worked with Air India for 32 years, and 2015 I retired from Air India. But from 1981 to 2014, I was responsible for women's department. Here I had to encourage women to come out of their houses, study, teach them some vocational training, and we were doing gift products like Rakhis, Diwali products like diyas, torans, and we had to contact many companies to sell our products. It was very tough time for us to do marketing, since the products were made by visually impaired, and you cannot guarantee the quality since they have their limitations. So we had teachers to do the final touch for the products, and in this way we used to contact corporates and sell our products. One thing I enjoyed being Secretary of NAB India was every year we used to make 3 to 4 lakhs Rakhis, and 2 lakhs Rakhis we used to take them with us on the borders, different borders like Punjab, Hussainiwala Bagh, then in Kashmir, Punj, and we used to be with the Jawans, and my visually impaired women used to tie Rakhis to our Jawans, and the smile, the blessings which we had was very touching. 2015 I retired from Air India. As I was doing my MSW studies and my school studies, college studies, the challenges which I have faced, I was all along thinking about my brothers and sisters who would pursue higher education, what difficulties they must have had faced or they would be facing. And thinking on these lines, I was thinking of starting something, but something was what? I was asking myself, how do I overcome these challenges which my sisters and brothers would face in their future, or how my seniors would have faced. I had deep thinking about this thought, and then after I completed my MSW, I had decided to start something, but of course those years I was little engaged with some other commitments, responsibilities, and in 2001 it was back of my mind that I should start something. But in 2001, as I was just thinking to myself one day that I should start some organization where none of my brothers and sisters would be depending so much on others. They would be in problematic situation. I had an idea that what I wanted to start. I had a name also for the organization, but since my Marathi was not that good, I went and I met my friend and told him this is the idea I have, and the name should include this: one who is affectionate, one who is loving, and one who is committed and willing to help. That, my friend, was Swagat Thorat. And immediately we were discussing, and immediately he told me Snehankit. And that time I liked this name Snehankit, and I said, do you really mean this? He said, yes, you can. And then I met some of my friends. Okay, the name is there, Snehankit. How do I start? How do I go ahead? I had so many good friends, and I met them, and they suggested that I should meet some organizations and tell them. And during that time, one of the organizations, they were in process of distributing scholarships to blind students. And they told me you can come and talk to them and address them and express your plan to them. And I did it. And so many students approached me and they became members. They said, yes, we would like to have all these facilities and we would like to join your organization. Now, thinking of the facilities like audiobooks, of course, that was the first project which was in my mind, and I was just thinking how to go about it, how to collect volunteers, how to go for volunteers. So I approached Mr. Rajiv Khandekar, the editor of Lokasatta, and Samir Karve, well-known editors of Lokasatta and Maharashtra Times. And immediately they wrote an article in the papers, and the tremendous response which I got. Every second I was getting call. Before I approached Mr. Rajiv Khandekar and Samir Karve, I had my own plan. The plan was, I had formed a form where education qualification, it was a form for the volunteers who would undertake the responsibility. The form was like this: none of the volunteers would be traveling, they have to sit in their own homes and record the books. As we know, this traveling is difficult for everyone, and people are having jobs and they have to have some time for themselves. They cannot travel and come to you and read for you and record the book for you. They can do this sitting in their own homes, and whenever the recording is over, we can collect from them, no troubling the volunteers. Plus, if the student requires reading, both volunteer and the student should, on mutual understanding, decide where both volunteer and the student would like to meet, whether volunteer would like the student to come to her house or they would be meeting some other place. Also, this, when I expressed this to people, they were very happy, because you know that so many people work, and in the evening it's very difficult for them to leave their household responsibilities and go and do voluntary service. When this point was mentioned, I had so many responses that they would like to help us. Majority of women called me and they said, we are interested. Where our Subrata was there, and Nandini was there, Shubhangi Ghag was there. So many people approached me, and this is how I started first project, audiobook. Now, why did I start audiobook project was because there were no books after 10th standard and the students could not study. They had to depend on others. When you depend on the other volunteers, sometimes volunteers have no time, or they would say they are coming to read, and then some something would happen in the house or commit other commitments, so they would cancel the appointment with the student. That is the reason audiobook project was started, and this project was very successful. I never thought that this project will give us more such a lot of publicity, that we are getting requests from all over the India. First, I started with students in Bombay, Ruya College, Ruparel, SIS, 3 colleges, and slowly through mouth publicity, now we are recording books for all the universities in Maharashtra and also out of Maharashtra, that is Raman Maharshi, the Indore, Jaipur, Rajasthan, and many other. This commitment to help others came from my mother. My parents were also believed in social work. My parents were also helping so many people. My mother was helping blind children, and this commitment, I think, must have come to me from my parents, who were also loving and responsible citizens. My father was a freedom fighter. He was in jail in 1942 movement, and on the time we were getting all these lessons how Jawans are and how we should behave and not cry for small things. So that has helped me a lot. Before starting audiobook project, there was a need for us to register the organization. And I am thankful to Mr. Naushir Dadrawala, who really helped me a lot in drafting the trust deed before I could go to Charity Commissioner office. I met him. I explained him about my organization, my wish to start organization, and how to go about it. He guided me. He drafted a trust deed and also cautioned me that, see, people start the organizations and within 3-4 years they discontinue, the organizations are closed and only the name remains. I promised him that this will not happen in Snehankit Helpline's future. He drafted the trust deed and gave me, and then I forwarded to Suvrata and Mr. Divekar, who literally followed it for nearly 3-4 years. We could not get appointment with Charity Commissioner, but they were the ones who followed it up. In the meantime, my projects were going on, audiobook projects. Then I realized that some more things we should be making available for the visually impaired students. So we thought of having different lectures on various topics, legal literacy, and then we started computer training, because that's the time the MSCIT concept came and we didn't know how to start. So we contacted Dr. Vandana Chakravarti, the Dean of, Director of Continuing Education Department, and she helped us to start computer class in her in the college. That time we had 4 batches, and after 4 batches, to get more and more students for the organizations, we started organizing programs every year, competitions or entertainment programs for the visually impaired persons, so that they know better our organization. We had Sridhar Phadke's program, Yashwant Dev program. Then we had invited Bhimrao Panchal. So many programs we had, and still today people ask me why we have stopped the programs. The reason behind it, we did not want to spend money on the programs but start on various projects. In 2010, we thought of having our own website, and 21st August 2010, we launched our own website where Dr. Hande, the Vice Chancellor of Mumbai University, inaugurated it. 2012, we had a problem. All these years, the office was in my premises, but later on, I had to shift our office to some other place, and for which we contacted Mr. Satish Chindarkar, requesting him to provide a place for us at least for 3 years. So Snehankit Helpline Office was working in Anuyog Vidyalaya. In 2015, we shifted to Andheri premises. Till today, our office is still in that place. Andheri is the place where office is my own house. We are making the use of my house for Snehankit Helpline's office. Till 2020, Snehankit Helpline Office organization was run with the support from the volunteers. They were doing the administrative work, accounts work, editing work, training students for various activities, and only because of COVID, my volunteers could not continue as they were senior citizens. Then we appointed staff for our office, and it is now we have so many staff appointed for the organization. 2016, we started Braille production unit with the support from Mr. Shankar Raman, who was a director of education department and one of the experts in India. With the help of Mr. Mahendra More, who is handling our Braille press, and started transcribing books for 11th, 12th and 10th standard. Also, some professional books like music, law, for the students who are pursuing higher education. Earlier, the students were not opting for commerce, but nowadays students are taking commerce as a subject, and we have started transcribing books, commerce subjects, bookkeeping, secretarial practice, accounts, and many other books. The books are transcribed in Hindi, English, Marathi. For the commerce students, we have started Tally program where they learn Tally, which is very important for them to learn as they are taking commerce, and also those who are employed by financial institutes or those who have job requirements for Tally. Nowadays, students are requesting for EPUB and not audiobooks, as they are well versed with computers, advanced Excel, accounts. So the request is coming for EPUBs, so they can read the books on the laptop. When you listen audiobooks, you are not able to know the spelling of the words, but when you read e-text, you can find out the spelling of words and also the tables and how it's written, so it helps them in the exams. And 2017 we started multi-service center with the support from Sampada Palnitkar and Pallavi Shankar, both are special educators. 2018 we started new project, residential camp, where students from various parts of Maharashtra attend our camps, where they are exposed to various activities like swimming, communication skills, Malkham, etc. and so on. Snehankit Helpline also organizes program on 5th December, that is International Volunteers Day. We invite all the volunteers and thank them for their support and organize various programs for them, and as token of affection we distribute some gifts to them. We also conduct sensitization course for the volunteers, in which they are blindfolded and asked to do some various activities. This helps them to know how the visually impaired person goes around without seeing and doing the activities. Not only we focus on academic, but also we try to focus on other activities like home management, home teaching, where we teach them the household responsibilities, how, in what way they can contribute the families in when they are at home, how they can help the families in kitchen work. So we train them in making, cutting, scraping, making chapatis, use of gas, use of cooker, and so many activities we conduct in our premises. Also we focus on vocational training, during which we have trained them in making LED bulbs, batteries, welding, chain lampshades, and how to repair mixer, fridge. So with this they can earn something and stand on their own feet. It is not only training them but also marketing them, how to make a budget, costing. So they are full-fledged, they become full-fledged in the business. We had started home teaching, and we have found that program was very successfully done. Many students do not know how to take care of themselves due to overprotection of the parents. We have one or two students who did not know how to comb their hair, dress up, make their beds, and our special educator trained them in combing their hair, how to comb and how to dress up. And now those students who did not know anything about this dressing up and combing hair are doing so well, and they have got jobs in corporate sectors. Snehankit Helpline always tries to update the students. We run computer class, teaching them basic skills, Word, Excel, PowerPoint, Internet, and also the courses required for employability. We also have refreshers course in computers for the persons who are attending jobs and requires particular training in computers. We also have need-based computer training program. We fulfill the needs of visually impaired persons on various levels. All these years we were focusing on education, but now we are trying to focus on vocational training, and also we have started outreach program for the visually impaired persons residing in remote areas like Adivasi Padas or small remote areas where there is no ray of hope. The people do not know what are the facilities available for visually impaired, what are the government schemes, what certificates they require to avail the government schemes, and the training in mobility is not available in those areas. We try to identify such cases and trying to plan some activities like training in mobility orientation, vocational training, so they also have some dreams to come up, to go ahead in life. All these projects need time, money, volunteer support, staff support, trustee support. It is not one person's job, it is the entire team work which we have in Snehankit Helpline, and because of which we are reaching 25 years with the support from donors and well-wishers. We think that we will be reaching the highest point in few years where Snehankit Helpline will be known internationally also. Thank you.